Generous day, beloved, generous day. Generous because we're alive and we're able to live one more day to experience life. And today I have a beautiful transmission, a beautiful oracle message, a beautiful magical illustration for you. And this message is for the Twin Flame channel, okay? So if you're a Twin Flame, you're receiving this transmission. Okay, so let's get started. So today, oh, that's beautiful energy. So today, we're gonna speak about activations and why activations are so important, okay, in this beautiful journey. We have to understand that, yeah, there's levels to this, and we always have to remember that the reason we're speaking about these levels is not for superiority, it's to help the human mind understand where it's at and feel safe, and understand if it has work to do, or, when we talk about what we're talking about, introspection and, just getting to know yourself, thyself. So I have a lot of information coming in for a course I'm creating. Um, for but what's coming in for this public channel is frequencies. So the reason you have to understand where you are at is because that way you're what to do next or what not to do. Anything that could be possible too. So we have to understand that, the awakening starts at the human level when we start, it's the soul that sparks the question, like, what is this life for? Right? Like, who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And those questions are seated in our subconscious by our soul. Our soul sparks those questions. And in our human soul, we start, like looking, like searching for that curiosity. And that's how we run into, books and, associations and organizations and, and guides, spiritual guides and, courses and academies. And we run into all of this and because those vessels hold the information that our soul wants our human soul to remember. So the human soul works very different to the spiritual soul. The spiritual soul already knows everything, it doesn't have any need to do anything. But the physical soul, what they call the divine masculine, and it has the need to know because it works differently. It works more on a human physical level than the spiritual soul. And this is where the union gets stuck because it's either some people are really stuck in the spiritual realm and others are really stuck in the physical realm. And this is a multi-dimensional journey. There's not one or the other. Both of them have to be appreciated and respected. So after the human soul or the divine masculine energy within each of us, within us, start searching, we start getting activated, we start becoming aware. And most of the ones that we are in this twin flame journey, we have worked in it in other lifetimes. So what happens is when these books arrive to us, it's just like, oh yeah, like I know, like, oh, how did they know? Like if they're talking about me, that's me, like we just get activated really fast because we have worked in other lifetimes with these frequencies. Mhm. And then, slowly our higher selves start, activating our chakras to the point where it's able to spark our higher chakra, heart chakra, and, merge our with our twin flame. And so our twin flame is on the in the sphere where our higher self is at. And what happens in this merging, it's like it's a beautiful experience with this energies just merge, and you feel so much love, so much beauty. And some people, it's like a chamari, what they call a shamari, and some people experience it for like a few minutes, others for hours. Like in my case, it was hours. And what that happens is that the two bodies are getting activated in different forms, but both of the bodies, the the twin flames are getting activated. Okay, but in between this, we do also have our soul family, which is also part of our soul. And this is other souls that we are entangled because they're entanglement, we have entanglement with, because they form part of our of our um, of our higher soul, the source level soul. So this is what the tricky part is, because like, who is your twin flame and who is your soul family? And this is exactly why we are always guided to work within ourselves and not outside, because that's the only way we could reach our true, original, unique, only frequency. So each pair of twins have their own unique frequency, and nobody else has that frequency. Only you and your twin match that frequency perfectly, perfectly. Nobody else has that frequency. They might have a frequency that's very close, and it gets confusing, but they don't have the exact same frequency. Only you and your true twin, your other body, have that frequency. So that's why we're guided to work on ourselves, because confirmations are coming in. Oh, well, a lot. That's why we're guided to work on ourselves, because when we do that, we purify our frequency, our unique signature, energetic signature that nobody has. So, see, this is why, so the more we work on ourselves, the more clear we come to our authentic original frequency, the more our journey gets clear, and the more our twin is able to see clearly too. And so but if it doesn't matter if you are in the physical vessel of divine masculine or the physical vessel of feminine, it doesn't matter. You still have to do your own work inside. And once you grow into that original frequency that you are, the naturally everything becomes clear outside. So it doesn't matter which part of the bodies you are, which one of the bodies you are, you still have to do your own work once the information has reached you, period. So, Divine Mama is like, period. Okay. So to understand more about frequencies, I'm gonna guide a little bit. So so that was my first activation, my higher chakra, and my, well, I had a lot of activations, but like that merging was my first activation. And at that point, I do not know who my physical twin is. In the physical realm, I don't know what my other body is. What I experienced was energy within me, my own soul merging, okay? But a whole lot of divine beings are starting arriving into my reality with other activations. And I'm going to give an example. So within me, so there's a lot of knowledge, capsules of information that are stored in the Akashic records and the Aether and the quantum field. These capsules of information are meant to be brought down into your physical body. That's why they call it embodying, because you're bringing the capsule information into your body and then making it a reality, okay? Bringing it into your reality. So our reality is created by our frequency. So the more the more parts of our frequency that we activate, the more capsules of information, the more DNA that sparks on, the more our reality turns into its original blueprint, organic blueprint, which is very beautiful, very paradise loving, blissful union with God life, where we don't experience lack, we don't experience fear, we don't experience shame or any of those things, because it's not part of our frequency or of our reality. Yes, and the more we do that, the people around us start feeling that beautiful love, paradise love, the paradise union, that innocence, that peace, and they can start turning that sparks on their own DNA, and then they could start experiencing that peace too. Okay, so activations are a capsule information that gets turned on our energetic system and in our DNA. And when that happens, because it's like the lights got on. So the example that I give for the human mind to understand this is, if you go, for example, to an attic or a basement that you have never been there for a lot of years, and it's full of junk, and it's full of junk, and you haven't gone in there because you've been lazy or whatever, and then you turn the lights on, and it's a mess, and just like, oh, I don't want to see that. There's two options. You could turn the lights back off and ignore the room, or you could, start slowly cleaning up the room and organizing it and making it beautiful. So the choice is always yours. So I always explain that activation is one thing. You could be activated by the best teacher, guru, or guide, or whatever in the world. But if you don't do nothing with that activation, you're not going anywhere. Does this make sense? So we get this capsule information are transmitted to us, like I'm transmitting this capsule information to you. They're transmitted to us, and it activates certain awareness within us. And then we have to decide, like, what to, do I move forward? Or usually, because it gets turned on, it just comes naturally. The changes just come naturally. Okay, so there's a lot of activations that you're gonna find in the spiritual realms. Okay, and in the spiritual communities too. Which activations are for you? It's your higher self, your true self, your authentic self will guide and bring the right alignment for your activations. And I have to say that, unfortunately, in the past we had a lot of stuck energies on the spiritual community that were holding a lot of beings back from their true activations, because they were speaking on activations without even knowing or having experience in activation. And that's really sad. They were keeping a lot of people stuck. So fortunately, this is already moving forward, and the energies are moving, they're flowing more, and it's a process. It's a beautiful process. And once we get the hang of it, it just gets really beautiful. But we just have to learn to flow, go with the flow of these energies that are trying to emerge and alchemize on Earth. So, that's why I always say, who's the commander? I'm not the commander. Gaia is the commander. Divine Mother is the commander. The divine is the commander. Yes, we're being guided. Yes, we're walking each other home. But the true commander, the true guide for all of this, the true alchemist is, the divine. And we have to keep that in mind, because we have to trust in somebody. And if everybody's full of trauma, wounds, and things like that, and we put all of our trust in a person, and then that person's not able to be at our expectations, we'll blame them. And it's not their fault that we put our expectations on them. They're human, they're going through their own traumas. So the only ones that we could really put hope or expectations on is the divine. And the divine will guide us into the right vessels, into the right people, into the right sources to remember our own activations. Okay, so an example of an activation. So I have a lot of frequencies, and I'm going to give you an example to help you understand. So I have two, maybe three that I'll share today. So one of the main ones that I had was the activation with the frequency of Mother Buffalo Blanco. Okay, so at the beginning of my twin flame activation, there's a lot of evil that was trying to distract me from my path. And so my vessel was receiving a lot of spiritual energetic attacks on my spine, okay? And I don't, to be honest, this activation just came very naturally because I was guided for a trip that I went all through the United States through what they call the Dragon Ley Line, one of the Dragon Ley Lines. And I crossed Arizona and many other states, but Mother Buffalo Blanco frequency, the capsule information, the frequency of Buffalo Blanco got activated and it protected my column. So I started feeling her, this frequency, and I will call on her like, Divine Mother Buffalo Blanco, thank you for protecting my column. Thank you for protecting my lineage back and forth. And I will feel like, so I will feel the frequency get activated and make my column feel really strong. And so I kept doing this until the activation was finally stable in my system. I hope this is making sense. And this is how this beautiful frequency, this beautiful Divine Mother, it's with me, protecting me all the time. So, if I do feel like, I always do connect with the divine, the higher self source. So Divine Mother Buffalo Blanco is also another aspect or another perspective of Holy Spirit, okay? Mama Kundalini, exactly. Exactly. So, there's many names for her, in each name holds certain wisdom, okay? That's why all names of Divine Mother are sacred, of the Holy Spirit are sacred. Okay, so this beautiful frequency got activated in my column, and whenever I will call her, my column would just feel really strong and protected. Yes, and that protected me from getting hurt and feeling pain. And there's other things, other activations I'm still working on, for to make my energetic system strong. So what we are doing is turning on our energetic system, integrating those frequencies and making our energetic system strong to create our true reality, our true organic reality. Okay, so I'm going to give a masculine frequency now. So the other frequency that I'm working with currently is Saint Germain. So Saint Germain, it's a frequency. A lot of people get confused in thinking it's a person, and it's not a person. Like, there are people that hold that frequency, okay, and especially the ones we remember from history, like the actual Count Saint Germain, who was the one who brought that frequency into Earth, if that makes sense. But it wasn't his frequency to keep. It's the divine's frequency. I hope this is making sense. So when how do I know these frequencies are activated within my system? First of all, I have to explain that these frequencies are in your energetic system already. They're not someone that's gonna bring them in, or they're inside you. They're inside you. These frequencies are inside you. So you might have this frequency and call it another name. You might call it like a value, for example, honesty or integrity. Does this make sense? It's a value. It's a frequency. It has a value. It has some sort of knowledge. And this same frequency that I call Saint Germain, you might call it something else, but it holds that value, the value of integrity, the value of royalty, the value. So royalty, a lot of people think is about being superior, but royalty is really about service to others. Who serves more the people than a king and a queen, right? Or a con. Yes, it's like it is the value of service to others, the value of integrity, the value of honor. A lot of honor with Saint Germain's frequency. So there's other things that he's helping me with, like working behind the scenes. So I do a lot of work behind the scenes, and then a little work in the scenes, like for others to see. And he helps me, that frequency helps me integrate what is appropriate to expose and what is not. Okay? Exactly. So Saint Germain is a beautiful frequency, and the only true way to understand you're working with a frequency is when you're actually embodying it. And this is something you just have to experience for yourself. A guide like myself, where I'll just call me like I don't want to use titles. So when I use titles, I use them for teaching and explaining. But as an oracle, I'll call yeah, like as an oracle, or yes, as an oracle, I'm being guided to share this wisdom with you. Okay, this wisdom, this frequency, this capsule of information. But you have to discern if this is appropriate for you or not. And if it's not, it's okay, because that means the appropriate vessel to share the wisdom might be somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? So that's the problem in the spiritual community, that we want to keep everybody with us. And we don't understand that sometimes letting somebody find their own path means the people that we are meant to share the wisdom with are able to come in. So it's a flow. Okay, we let them go, and then the right people for us will come. So that brings a lot of unity consciousness, because now we understand that we're not trying to take somebody else's audience, or I don't know what your word to use, but the people we are meant, the beautiful souls we are meant to share our wisdom with, they're already getting guided into us, so we don't need to pressure ourselves into bringing people in, because just by working on ourselves and in our own frequency, the people that need to receive our knowledge will, okay? And they will come slowly into our reality. And it's beautiful. And we all have different powers. We all have different wisdom and different codes. And it's okay. It's okay. So we have to be authentic. So I hope it's making sense. So one thing is to understand that those codes are inside of us. We don't need anybody to activate them. But but when somebody is giving us a transmission like this one, okay, and we're able to receive that frequency directly, it accelerates our process, because now we're being reflected to somebody that has experienced it before. So it makes like the journey faster, okay? So I'll just make like a little summary. So your authentic, truest frequency, it's already there. It's getting activated, okay? It's getting activated, and your twin flame, your other self, that's what I like to call it, your other body, is also getting activated with your activations. And soul is your soul family. And that's why you have to be patient in this journey and focus on your highest timeline and your own frequency so that who is your soul family, like your sacred brothers and your sacred sisters, and who is your partner, partner in crime. No, not in crime. Partner in divine union. Okay, partner and I'll just yeah, like the one you will consume a marriage with. I'll just use that word because it helps, the one you will consume a marriage with and in the physical realm. Okay, so your other self, your other body. And so the other bodies is your soul family. And the way you're gonna know who's your sacred brothers and your sacred sisters is by working on yourself. So that's why working outside is such a waste of time because believe me, when with this, if you're on this journey and you're listening to me right now, you're seeing me right now, you know very well that it's not for yeah, it's not for babies. It's not for babies. This is very serious work because it's a big responsibility and it affects many, many people. And usually this responsibility is given to us when we are ready and it's appropriate. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people, unfortunately, that they think they are in the twin flame journey and they have not even gone through shadow work. I don't know how somebody that has never done shadow work could even think they're on the twin flame journey. Like, you know, I just don't understand. Like they have not done a bit of shadow work. They don't even consider doing shadow work, but they think they're on the twin flame journey. That just doesn't make any sense. No awareness, and and that's why we have to be very careful to explain this part because the human soul, it's very fragile and delicate, and we just have to protect it. It's us at the end, like we have to protect the kind human soul, human mind. We have to protect it, and the way we do this is by explaining step by step so that there's no misunderstanding, because at the end it will set a lot of people free. The truth will set people free. And this is another code. If you want to really get through this journey, you just have to say the truth. That's what my guides told me. You just have your sword is your truth, and you will be that was your highest protection. And that's another code. So for those who are having a hard time, it's because they don't want to face the truth. They don't want to face the truth, and yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. It's your decision if you want to move forward in life, and the only way you're gonna do it is by understanding that your highest protection is your highest sort of protection is your truth. And as long as you say the truth, now, if people are afraid to say the truth, it's basically because they're hiding something or they don't want something to be exposed. And it's okay. That just means it's a little bit more healing and shadow work to do. And that's why in this journey, they make us do the work first. They make us go through shadow work because that way we don't keep others from moving forward, if that makes sense. So I hope this beautiful transmission it's helpful to your journey, and I'll see you next month. Thank you. Have an amazing, amazing, powerful month. Thank you.